Hey, do you want me to be a coach, or you want me to just be a listener right now? And how can I help you in your situation?
Welcome to the Project My Life podcast from Monetti Productions.
What's up, guys? Anthony Monetti. We're back with another episode, Project My Life. I have a beautiful co-host with me today.
Karen Monetti.
What's your last name?
Monetti.
Oh, there we go. All right, guys. So today we're talking about emotional transformation. We're on this new series called Finish What You Started. For me personally, because I need to finish this podcast because I started it. But we're diving deep into some transformations, and today is all about emotional transformation, what that looks like, and things that you can do if you feel like you want to change, how you're looking at things and how what your perspective is on life and relationships and all the fun stuff in between. So, Karen Monetti, what does an emotional transformation look like to you?
It comes in layers. Emotional transformation is many, many different things, but I think the biggest thing is changing how you view things, changing how you react to things. So it's two layers. You can view things differently and you can react to something differently. I
love you. How do you react?
Okay.
How do you react to some things? You're giving me the eyeballs. Because I love your perspective, but I'm just going to ask you, yesterday, when we had a little situation.
Yeah, I blew up because I see red sometimes when it comes to technology. Guys, I hate it. I talk about it all the time. I'm not a fan of it.
But is that what you're talking about, like perspective versus?
Yeah, well, when we're talking about transformations, yeah, it could be any level. Like what we do here in the studio and as coaches is work on health and physical transformations as far as like weight loss, getting healthier, moving better, being more confident. So when I'm talking about emotional, when it comes to this world of what we do, I'm talking about reacting differently to situations where you're faced with food, or you're tired, or you're stressed out, or you got stuck at work longer, or you're in traffic. How do you react to that and still put your health forward? Like still like forward in your head and think like, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm stressed. I'm going to go work out. It doesn't matter that, I'm at a meeting at work and there's this huge spread with all these cookies and cakes. I am not going to react to it, and I'm going to eat what I plan to eat.
Interesting. So you see there's a direct correlation between emotional and your thoughts, like how you're feeling versus how your thoughts.
Well, they're connected.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure. Yeah,
like
your mind is connected to your heart's connected to your mind.
There's a direct
your mind
line.
Overrides your heart sometimes your heart overrides your mind. Absolutely. So it's practice that we have to do to get better in the emotional sense of when you're trying to make a transformation. It's not just like you think of it and it's done. Like you have to practice this all the time.
Interesting. I think men and women do have different ways of interpreting their emotions and how they express them.
Sure.
I just posted something on Instagram this morning, and I was overwhelmed by the response. It was really quick too, which was cool to see, but also like, all right, I should maybe talk more about this, and men expressing their emotions and how to express their emotions. And I don't think there's a toxic masculinity. I know we're jumping around here, but
yeah,
it's involving the emotional transformation. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about from a men's standpoint, and we can talk about it from a woman's standpoint. And you have that kind of dual kind of thing going on here because you're obviously a woman, clearly. And I can speak from my perspective as well. So I posted something on Instagram this morning, and I just found something. I don't know if she was a doctor or just some influencer talking about how men, half the time when they express themselves, the women basically, they have to console the woman. If a man speaks his mind, half the time they have to console the woman on how that made them feel as opposed to how he was feeling.
Understand.
Right? So like
I see that.
You see that,
oh,
right?
Yeah, totally.
So do you
it happens with us a lot too sometimes, right?
Talk to me, because I don't hold anything back.
No, you don't hold anything back, but my reaction sometimes you're like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you.
Right.
I didn't realize you were feeling that. And we do it both, and I think that's part of human nature. But yeah, I think a lot of men are shunned in speaking about their emotions because I don't know, it's just not societally okay to talk about emotions because you got to be a man, or the women do shut it down automatically.
I don't know if
not everybody, guys, is not generalization
Yeah.
either. And we're not like playing sides that way either. This is purely opinion at this point.
so. What's a man from your perspective, and
I thought we were
does
talking about emotional
how
transformations
does a
here.
man how does a man express their emotions with from
a man
man's-
to me is you, Monetti.
Oh, here we go. I love you.
No, what is it to be a man? In my opinion, to be a man is to be a leader.
From an emotional standpoint, though.
From an emotional standpoint, I think from an emotional standpoint, to be a man, and again, I'm not a man, but from what I see and what I think I need is a man who understands his own feelings, can express his feelings, and at the same time listen to my feelings and not take it to heart, and also not always judge or offer advice, just listen. And I think that's like when you're emotionally secure and healthy.
Speaking with humility, I think I do a good job on most of those things. Where it becomes a little bit touchy is when I try to coach.
Yep.
And I want to help. So
Sure.
I mean, I think I'm a nurturing personality, so I feel like I can help you out. So you're expressing something. I think a better question when I'm trying to connect with you emotionally is like, hey, do you want me to be a coach, or you want me to just be a listener right now? And how can I help you in your situation?
Sure. And that also goes into how we coach people too, right? Because sometimes our members just need to let go of some emotions and we just have to be a sounding board for them. And at other times we're able to offer advice around those because we've dealt with it before, or, you know, we've had other members deal with it and we've had like, I don't know, some strategies to get around what they're feeling that have been successful in the past with other people. So it comes down to even coaching other people. Being emotionally healthy will also allow you to help other people become more emotionally healthy.
I love it. So what are some obstacles you think people feel or have or face, I should say, when they're I'll back that up. I think before I ask you that question, I think it comes down to awareness and people knowing that they actually want to make a change and they want to be, you know, looking at things differently, or something has to happen, or if not, they just continue to do what they're doing, right? I know if I feel a certain way, if I said something, I'm like, damn, like the other night, I'm like, damn, I really shouldn't have said that. It was just so insensitive. And I apologize probably 1,200 times because I recognized it. I'm not perfect, but I try to like understand myself before I can understand you. So the emotional side of it becomes a mental game as well, and deciphering those two. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what are some obstacles? That was a random thought out of nowhere.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Well, that's
welcome to the
guess
Project
what?
My
You can
Life
turn it
podcast
off if you don't
with
want to hear it
Anthony Monetti.
anymore. Let's go.
What's the question?
Really though,
Focus.
what are some obstacles that people face when they're in an emotional transformation, and what does an emotional transformation look like?
I understand what you're saying, I think.
Okay.
The obstacles that I see people face when they are transforming their lives in terms of, again, what we do as far as losing weight, building muscle, becoming healthier, moving better. I'm always going to bring it back to that because that's our space that we know.
Good.
I'm not a counselor, so I don't know trauma and all that, right? But
You're not a licensed counselor because you pretty much
I'm
are
not
a
a
counselor.
licensed counselor, but I did go to school for psychology.
Right, exactly. And we do that mostly when people try to transform their body.
It's mostly emotional. So here's what most of the barriers I see when people are transforming is there's a lot of family origin that comes into play and habits that have been developed since a kid, whether it's we eat when we're happy, we eat when we celebrate, we eat when we're sad, right? We mourn with food, right? Like everything is very food centered in a lot of people. So that's an emotion that we have to overcome. Other emotions is pressure, like either from self or peer pressure that we haven't learned to overcome yet. Having other people's opinions be more important than what we value. That's something we have to overcome. And another thing is self-confidence is a big one people have to overcome. And that is all emotional, because how do you look at yourself? How do you feel about yourself? And if you're not feeling confident, then how can you make good decisions in hard circumstances, right? So like if you're not feeling confident and you're put in a situation with a bunch of friends at a party and there's a ton of alcohol and food and you're just trying to please everybody else because you're not confident with your own self, chances are you're not going to make great decisions. You're going to eat way more, drink way more, and then you go home at night and now you feel guilty, you beat yourself up over it. So there are a lot of challenges and obstacles when it comes to emotional transformations. And that's only the surface of them all. We do a lot more than that.
Yeah,
for sure.
This is good because the video I'm talking about is on my brain. So you're bringing it back to food and fitness and
sure.
Which is awesome.
Because that's what we do. That's our space.
That is what our space is. But it's deeper than that. I think personally, and that's why I'm stuck on this video this morning. And I think the response was mixed. Some guys were like, "Yeah, that's why I don't talk to girls. That's why I don't tell them."
It's understandable
Right.
if you're always being shut down or your feelings are not as valid as somebody else's, then that will stop you from expressing.
I think it's the approach on how you express, and
Sure.
then I looped it back around to being, self-confidence and how confident you are with what you're feeling is going to help you relay that message to whoever you're trying to relate it to. And I think the transformation happens from awareness, being aware of it, and good stuff.
So being aware of it, learning new skill sets, and then practicing them daily.
Yeah. What you have an example? You don't have no mention any names, but
Of which?
somebody who's experienced more of an emotional transformation here than physical.
Every single person I've ever worked with
It's
in the past 15 plus years.
Usually more emotional than physical.
All more. Even in my sessions with them, we talk about like food and nutrition and fitness maybe 10% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 90% emotional and mental for sure.
It's so wild because I'm try to tell people, some people don't want to. They don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about the results and how I'm going to look and how I'm going to feel.
And that's okay.
But really,
we start there.
You can, but the process of getting there, people don't want to address. So it's kind of like, I know I'm going to have to, face some things that I'm not really comfortable with. So I don't want to deal with it. So it just gets swept under the carpet, and then just kind of keep it moving.
And then it blows up.
And
in
then
their
it blows
face.
up, and it blows up either in a irrational conversation or argument. Or emotions that don't have to be there,
or they self-sabotage themselves and start eating and binging and not working out or over-exercising and over-dieting. It can go either way.
Wow, powerful stuff. Whew. All right, well, you can connect with us on social if you'd like, talk more, or just drop us your comments. All positive, because we don't need any negative BS in our life. So keep all the negative stuff out. All positive feedback. I'm only kidding.
Don't be a Karen.
Yeah, don't be a Karen, Karen. Let's go. You're the only one who can say that, Karen.
I can.
All right.
And I even have the Karen cut.
Oh,
I'm
my
like, I could be the spokesperson.
You
just
are
joking.
the furthest thing
I
from
am the
a
furthest
Karen,
thing from a Karen.
Most times. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. For more information, visit our website at thisisbody.com. That's thisisbodhi.com.